Hello, you're watching ASAO channel. I'm Jasper, and today I'm going to be talking about April in the UK. What's the weather like in April? Spring has officially started and we've had some very nice weather so far this year. Some hot days, but sometimes a bit cold, mostly sunny, a couple of rainy days, a couple of cloudy days, things like that. In Japan, both the school and business year start in April. When do you start in the UK? The business year and the school year are a little bit different in the UK from each other. So the school year, as I think I've mentioned in another video, the school year starts in September and ends in around July. And then there's a nice long summer holiday for children. But the business year starts in April and ends in April as it does in Japan. So this is what we call the financial year. So generally speaking, this is how the tax year is divided up. So April to April. What special days are in April in the UK? Well, actually, we don't have any special days in April in the UK. April Fool? Yes, we do. We have April Fool's Day, which is on the 1st of April. And this is a day where we play jokes and pranks on each other. Usually in the morning after noon, we are kind of traditionally not allowed to play the pranks anymore. But for example, maybe you might put a bag of flour on top of the door so that when somebody opens the door, the flour falls on top of their head and they get covered with it. Something silly like that. Sometimes people play slightly more mean jokes and convince each other that something scary is happening or something like that. Also in the newspaper, generally the British newspapers will post or publish a story which is fake. It's not supposed to be taken seriously. Sometimes these can be things which are almost believable, and sometimes they're just very silly things. And it's usually maybe on the front page of the newspaper or in one of the first few pages of the newspaper so that many people can see it and be fooled by the joke. And then the next day the newspaper will tell us which stories were fake. Also in April we have St. George's Day, which is the English patron saint. So only for England. This isn't for Wales or Scotland or Ireland. We don't celebrate this the way that the Irish celebrate St. Patrick's Day, but this is to commemorate St. George, who is the patron saint of England, and he's most famous for having a legend of slaying a dragon in the early 100s, I think, maybe the year 300 AD, something like that. We have heard about Easter holiday. What exactly do you celebrate? And why rabbits, eggs, and chocolate? This is a very good question. Easter is traditionally a celebration of the death of Jesus Christ. In the Bible, Jesus died on Good Friday. And then he was resurrected 2 days later. So this means he came back to life. So that is our Easter Sunday. So we are basically celebrating the death and reincarnation, resurrection of Jesus. So the connection with the Easter Bunny and eggs and chocolate actually has nothing to do with the religious festival, but is more to do with the spring festival. Rabbits and eggs symbolize fertility, and chocolate, I would assume, I'm not sure about this, but I think that it's probably to do with feasting. We would have a big feast to celebrate the start of spring, and that's the reason why we have chocolate and eggs and the Easter Bunny on a religious festival that is to do with Jesus Christ. They're not connected through religion, they're connected through the beginning of spring. How is the situation with COVID in April? At the moment, things are looking a lot more optimistic for Britain things are coming open, restaurants are opening, pubs are open. As you can see, I've got my hair cut, which I'm very pleased with. So everybody's feeling a lot more happy, a lot more optimistic. The weather is better. We're starting to feel that we're coming to what we call the home straight, the last part of this horrible experience that we've all been having. Hopefully the frenzy of activity that has happened in the recent weeks will not have made things worse, because people have been getting together at pubs and at restaurants and just being generally happy that we're out of lockdown. So hopefully this won't cause a great disaster, but I'm sure it won't, and I'm sure that we're okay because the vaccination process has been really going well. I am vaccinated, my parents are vaccinated, my sister-in-law is vaccinated as well. I'll be getting my second jab in May or June. We're moving out of this and it's looking much better. This is not related to April, but is it true that British people don't have afternoon tea? Is it purely commercial for tourists? This is a really interesting question, actually. I think that afternoon tea is dying out, really, in Britain. It used to be a specific mealtime in the day where we would have afternoon tea at around 3:30 or 4 o'clock, sort of in the middle of the afternoon, and we would have tea and cakes and sandwiches. But because everybody is working so hard in the 21st century, there's not really any time for this mealtime anymore. There are still families in the UK who I'm sure will still have an afternoon tea every so often, and I'm sure that the royal family probably has afternoon tea quite often. But generally speaking, working people won't have afternoon tea. On the other hand, they do have a tea break in the afternoon. There'll be certain points in the day when people will stop to have 5 or 10 minutes to have a cup of tea or maybe a coffee to break up the afternoon and get a little bit of caffeine in them to be able to get through the rest of the day. And afternoon tea is more of a special occasion. I don't think that it's really necessarily a commercial thing for tourists. We still have afternoon tea from time to time. But as I say, it's more of a special occasion. Maybe we might have an afternoon tea with friends at a weekend, maybe once or twice in a year or something like that. So afternoon tea is maybe a dying out tradition, which is quite sad, really. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the ASAO channel. Please like the video and like our page, and please leave some comments below if you have any questions for me. ASAO Language School provides lessons in a variety of different languages. If you are interested in any lessons with me or with any of the other teachers for any of the other languages, please look at our website in the link below.
はい、こんにちは。浅尾翼です。チャッターボックスのシリーズでは主に英語の勉強に関する情報を発信しております。また、日本語教師を目指されている方にもちょっとしたねヒントをティップを提供するようなそんなコンテンツも発信しております。下の説明欄の方にリンクがありますので、そちらをクリックしていただけるといろんな追加情報が見られると思います。このシリーズ面白いと思った方はぜひグッドボタンとチャンネル登録をお願いいたします。ありがとうございました。